go live on all. I'll figure out how it's kind of crazy what qualifies as a startup today. Technically, OpenAI is a startup, right? Anthropic is a startup, but they are valued at over $100 billion, which is crazy. Anyway, Meta's earnings calls and Microsoft's earnings calls reveal something that really put the naysayers of AI and, like people who assumed that AI was going to be a fad, to silence, to ease, right? Because get this, Meta was able to make its record-breaking increase in revenue and profits, not because they had a separate investment in AI and they were funneling money into that investment and they just happened to have AI exposure and most of their money was coming in from ad revenue. That was not what happened. Meta was able to integrate AI into its ad revenue generation business and it used AI to increase its efficiency, and that led to these record-breaking profits, right? Same for Microsoft. So I think that we're ready to get out of this hype cycle. There's investors, there's people on the sidelines that are very skeptical of AI, and rightfully so, because we're not really sure about what AI is capable of doing. And unless you've used AI to automate your workflow in some way, you're going to be doubting it, right? So all that's fine. But these big tech companies are absolutely dominating in terms of being able to monetize AI, right? I mean, in terms of efficiency gains, in terms of integrating it into their existing businesses to get more juice out of their business. Microsoft's doing it, Meta's doing it, Google's doing it. And the thing that is a bit confusing right now is typically the incumbents are slow to move, right? That has been the nature of tech, and that is what gives startups all their glamour. That is why people want to invest in startups, because startups are able to move at a pace that big tech corporations can't. But AI is a very interesting beast where you see companies like Meta, Google, Microsoft, these massive incumbents that are able to capitalize on AI, that are able to explore the most innovative use cases of AI quicker than any of the other startups, and it's the startups and smaller teams that are following suit. Okay, in this video, or in today's stream, I'm going to talk about how every player is making money, right? And when I say every player out there, I'm talking about the hardware players, like NVIDIA. Let's be real, it's only NVIDIA, right? There's Lisa Su's company, AMD, and there's Samsung, and they're like trying to follow and trying to. Intel's not even a part of this conversation, but there's these other hardware players that are trying to get pieces of this pie. But let's be real, NVIDIA is the undisputed king here. Then there's the big tech corporations, your Metas, Microsofts, Googles. How are they really making money from AI? And then you have startups, right? Well, this is like two definitions of startups here. There's the Anthropics and OpenAIs, which are startups, but they're really, like the market leaders here. And then there's also small-time startups that are showing up, that are being built on top of these frontier models, that are literally standing on the shoulders of giants and delivering revenue-generating business models, right? They are making money, whether it be via subscriptions or whether it be via paper API called use or whatnot. And interestingly enough, some of these smaller startups are built using low-code tools, right? And then there's smaller entrepreneurs, small-time entrepreneurs, or your solopreneurs who are literally coming up with these AI automation workflows, packaging that, productizing that, and selling them for a subscription or whatnot. So everybody is making money using AI. And this is a very interesting time because there is a lot of market share left to be captured, right? So let's quickly go over how each of these companies are making money. So first of all, you have the software as a service and SaaS subscription models, right, that are used by Microsoft and Google and Salesforce, where they have a very defined product, say Microsoft Copilot, which is the AI assistant, and they're going to charge you $30 per month to use these Copilot assistants. And if you're a big tech corporation, then you're able to bundle a lot into that subscription, right? Like, for example, Microsoft in its Copilot AI assistant that it charges $30 per month for, can bundle in AI-powered access to PowerPoint and Excel, which are very valuable tools in the enterprise space, right? And also, enterprises sell to other enterprises. If you create custom fraud detection tools, or if you have custom predictive analytics dashboards, these are things, these are services that other enterprises are going to be paying a ton of money for, right? If you take a fraud detection, AI fraud detection tool built by Microsoft, for whatever reason, to a fintech company, they're going to be paying you millions on millions upon dollars for that service and for the security that enterprises give you. And at the end of the day, there's also the efficiency and productivity gains, right? And I think this is pretty much what Meta has been banking on. And you know, when I say efficiency, I don't just mean that these companies are laying off a ton of people. I mean, that's definitely part of it, right? But the productivity, the other side of the efficiency or the cost cutting uh, value gains, um, productivity gains let you, as a developer, create a lot more software using AI tools. So what would have been accomplished in, say, a year is now being accomplished in maybe half a quarter. And you're able to ship a lot more features, which unlock a lot more value and therefore bring you a lot of revenue. And this, I think, is really what's been driving the Meta story, why Meta is able to absolutely dominate on earnings calls. Let's go down. Let's go lower down the stack because all of this would not have been possible without the undisputed goat of the AI space, which is NVIDIA, obviously, right? Nothing. I think nothing gets built, nothing gets used in the AI space without NVIDIA having its fingers in it, and that's because NVIDIA makes the best chips, the best AI chips in the world. They make the best um, GPUs in the world. AMD, Samsung's trying. Everybody else is trying to catch up. NVIDIA makes the best AI chips, which is why they had a 114% year-on-year jump in revenue. They are raking in $130 billion worth of revenue in the year 2025. Because they're top tier, you know, like they sell the hardware that's the best hardware in the world. Like their Blackwell chips sell for like 30 grand a piece, and this is the price that enterprises get after negotiated deals, right? And also NVIDIA is able to get software licensing fees from licensing out their CUDA platform. So NVIDIA, bedrock of AI, and any company that builds anything that's related to AI will funnel money back to NVIDIA in one way or the other, right? I mean, like you may be thinking, oh yeah, I'm building my app, my startup, using OpenAI's APIs. Well, guess who OpenAI is paying for their training and inference? It's NVIDIA. Okay, so we have the enterprises and the big tech corporations, and then you know there's also the smaller niche startups, right? Where what they basically do is they come up with an AI product. This can be like an AI tutor. This can be like an AI language learning tool, and this can be like, I don't know, like an AI voice assistant. And they're using frontier models that are created by other big tech corporations. Maybe they're using APIs that are also provided by big tech corporations. They're packaging that into a product and they're selling that product to their customers under a subscription model, right? And even solopreneurs, what they will do is they will maybe set up a custom AI workflow, right? And this AI workflow may be like a job application workflow, like you upload your resume and you paste a lot of job descriptions and maybe it comes up with tailored resumes and whatnot. Like this is a workflow. You could set this up on your own, but so a lot of solopreneurs are going to package this and sell it to you for like a subscription, which is another way people are making money. Okay, so this wasn't always the case, right? I think a lot of people are still pretty skeptical about making money with AI, and for good reason. VC firms used to be super skeptical. Like there was the AI winter in, you know, like in the early 21st century, where people were just not really interested in investing in AI. AI investments dwindled quite a bit. But then I think starting 2016 to 2022, this is before the advent of ChatGPT, people started talking about AI again, if it's worth investing in AI, right? I mean, between 2016 and 2022, we saw like a lot of breakthroughs in deep learning models, like autonomous vehicles got better, computer vision got better, and we saw some glimpses of a little bit of text comprehension and summarization. It feels really funny to think about it now in this manner because 2016 doesn't seem too far away from me, right? I am a 90s baby, and to think that these developments were just glimpses into what would be possible just like 5 years down the road is pouring a lot of money into your product. They started AI washing all of their apps, and VCs got a bit wary about this too. But then in 2023, something interesting started to happen, right? I think VCs turned completely 180, and they switched from being cautious about hype cycles and cautious about, hey, is this a bubble kind of, feelers, to we don't want to miss out on this, right? We don't, it was basically FOMO. And they started going all in on AI investments. And that, like these 2 years saw such a spike in money flowing into AI startups, into the AI startup space, that you had, um, like, I think right now you have about 48 to 52% of all global investment in AI, global investment in startups, being into AI startups. And in North America, between Canada and the US, that portion is 70%. 70% of all VC money is going into the AI space. Now, here's the question: are we just bumping up a bubble with all this money flowing into AI? I think not. I genuinely think not. I think the market share to be captured is still a lot. There's a lot of space in the market. There's a lot of AI tools and products on the bedrock of obviously the hardware and the frontier model layer to be built. People are going to be building on top of these frontier models. There's a lot to be built that's going to make everyday life a lot simpler for people. And as these big tech corporations push the boundaries on what's possible, for example, Meta coming up with super intelligence and shipping it to everyone's pockets, coming up with a personalized version of super intelligence, the things that weren't possible before are going to become possible. And this is going to allow more applications to be built, right? This is going to allow people to pour more money into the AI investment space. So this is a pretty interesting time, especially if you're an entrepreneur. If you're a startup founder, or if you're planning to be a startup founder, it is time for you to get to hustling, get to working. Anyway, that's my take for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'll see you.